Okay, team, the mission's almost over. The IMC aren't far behind, though. Keep at it.
Gotcha, bitch!
Hey guys, Yummy here again, and I've been playing a lot of Titanfall recently. I just saw in the Origin that I could do that game time thing where I could play it for 48 hours for free, so I just decided to do it because I've been wanting to play it for a while, but I haven't been wanting to dish out the $20 or so to buy it. I know that's kind of cheap of me, but honestly, I'm kind of tired of spending money right now, so yeah, I'm not even gonna buy Hardline for a while, probably. So I just wanted to talk about Titanfall, what I think it did right, because there are a lot of things in this game that are extremely addicting, even though this game lacks a lot of content that it definitely needed for some more longevity. This game is a ton of fun every single round. No matter how bad you do, you can still have a ton of fun. So I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I thought were really good, some of the positive things, and also some things that I think were holding the game back, why it didn't achieve the success that we were hoping for. And one big thing, probably the most important thing in an FPS game, is the gunplay is extremely solid. Just as good as we would expect from Call of Duty, because it runs on the same engine and it's made by a company that came from Infinity Ward. So it runs just as smoothly and as crisp and responsive as any of the Call of Duty games, and even though I haven't been a fan of Call of Duty for quite some time now, this game was definitely refreshing from Battlefield, which had a much slower pace. This game is very fast-paced and also very responsive. The time to kill can either be quick or very long depending on how many hits you land and how many you hit in what place of the person, so it can sometimes seem like Battlefield kill time, and then other times it's like Call of Duty, really quick. It just depends, and the pilots tend to have more life than the grunts, so it might take a little bit longer to kill them. But overall, everything feels balanced. All the weapons do their own thing specifically, even though most of the time you only want to use the carbine because that just outright seems like the best gun in the game. Each round feels very diverse from another, just because of how they managed to do the rounds, where you have this massive battle, at least in attrition, where you have all these grunts and other AI characters that are running around and fighting their own battle within your battles. So you can engage the enemy grunts as well as the enemy pilots as well, which are the enemy players. And it just makes the battles seem so much bigger. And even though the grunts can seem kind of retarded at times, it's pretty much pointed out that the pilots are like these super elite soldiers, so I guess it's just supposed to be like, that's how much better you're supposed to be than the grunts and the specters. But yeah, it just feels like it's a real battle. It feels like it's alive as you have all of these characters engaging and talking to each other, and it feels very alive, and that's one of the big things that I love about Titanfall every single match. Each round begins and ends with something that I came up myself many years ago. I think I was probably 10 years old, where I was thinking, what if a Call of Duty round started with, you entering the battlefield on something and then exiting on something. And that's something that Titanfall has done, where you fly in on these dropships, and then if you lose, you have to race to get onto your dropships to evac, and it's just very awesome. It makes it feel like you're fighting a real battle, not just happening to be here, hey, kill this person for no reason. It feels like there is really an objective, even on attrition, which basically ends up being like team deathmatch. And then we have to talk about probably the biggest part of Titanfall, and that is the Titan combat, because the Titans were added to make it much more dynamic gameplay than Call of Duty, because if it wasn't there, it would feel a lot like Call of Duty. But it is there, adding another layer to the combat in this game, another layer to the depth. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the Titan combat. I enjoy that it's there. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, tanks in Battlefield maybe, but they are kind of annoying to use because there's players that are really good at them, so I guess the learning curve is a bit steep whenever it comes to truly dominating with them. It's really hard to go on long kill streaks with them because at one point it becomes kind of a gaggle fuck because there's so many guys on both teams that have their Titans. Sometimes it's like a giant mosh pit in the middle of the map, and it gets kind of out of hand, but I understand why it's there, and some people really enjoy the Titan combat, so I definitely accept that it's in this game, and I think that was one of the big things that helped advertise this game. Now, based off the beta, in which case we just played the multiplayer, this game looked stellar, like pretty amazing because of all this awesome additions to the FPS genre that they added, all these new things that they've come up with, and I mean the new ideas definitely made this feel like it was going to be a fresh game. But then the game came out and we kind of realized just how shallow the game really is, because they say that there's a campaign in the game, but the campaign is practically non-existent. They did this whole, ooh, the campaign is part of the multiplayer thing, but it didn't work out. It wasn't actually a good idea. People wanted a separate, true campaign, and that's what I kind of want. I mean, I play the multiplayer and I'm like, this is awesome, but this is definitely not enough for a game to support a game on its own. It's definitely not worth $60. So the game ended up being practically a half game with no real longevity, and that even shows now. Even though I'm playing it, I'm in games, I can find games for attrition for no problem. There's barely anybody playing the game. There's only like 1,000 people in the entire world playing attrition, and that's kind of crazy considering all the hype that this game got. And I mean, Battlefield 4 is way outperforming it, and it's also a year old like Titanfall is now. So if Respawn is making a Titanfall 2, I'm going to be really excited for it because I know that they're going to learn from their mistakes. They're actually going to make a full-out game worth $60 unless EA really rapes them in the butt over it. So there's some good reason to look forward to that because Titanfall was definitely a lesson for them, and it was their first attempt at making a game all by themselves. So there's a lot of hope for the Titanfall franchise. So if you guys like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And this is me, Yummy. Goodbye and good hunting.